Sweet. Okay. Well, hey everyone. I know we only have 28 minutes, so thanks for joining. I want to just kick off with just some quick announcements, and then we can jump into the first topic. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, can folks see it?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so we have a couple topics today. So we have a Flintcon Europe that is already scheduled and approved by the CNCF. And so we're going to start opening up a bunch of CFPs. So if you have a cool topic you want to chat about, like a use case or something you've done, it would be awesome to have you there as part of Flintcon Europe. It's side by side of KubeCon Europe. So folks are going to KubeCon Europe. It is just one of the days prior. And just some context, we had a Flintcon Europe the year before. We had some really great topics. We had a Flintcon North America last year. So this is just a great place to meet other Fluent developers, Fluent folks, people using it, people want to learn about it, share what you're doing. And that's always useful for the broader community. And then, yeah, of course, we try to make sure that there's good swag and stuff there to entice you. So yeah, that's going to be May 16th, I believe. And I'll post some more information on this. But if you have a cool topic, you want to, if you have, even if you've never chatted before or like presented before, like this is a great place to kick it off. Okay, let's go to the first topic, which is Florian, log to metric filter work and participation. You could give a quick intro background.
Sure. So welcome. I'm very glad that we got invited here. Sadly, my colleague Oliver is not able to participate today. He's sick. Hope not with Corona. We are an IoT company from Germany called Smart Things, and we are currently developing with a client together a sensor gateway, which is collecting a lot of different sensors nodes and kind of accumulating that based on a Raspberry Pi. And we push these things to the cloud. To a Prometheus database, for that we are already using FluentBit for monitoring, and we would love to use FluentBit also for pushing our sensor metrics. And for that we were already exchanging with Anurag, and figured out that it would be wonderful if we have a metric filter, a log to metric filter, sorry, because this is missing for us. We would like to, for example, via an HTTP input plugin, send the metrics or kind of the logs, metrics as logs, and then push them with the Prometheus output plugin to the cloud. But we are missing kind of this log to metric filter, and therefore we would love to participate here in the community. And help adding this feature, because this is important for us, and I could imagine it might also be interesting for some others, for other use cases.
Awesome. Cool. Well, yeah, so thanks so much, and thanks for joining and chatting about it. I know there was some chat about log to metric work in the roadmap, and so I think we have Eduardo here. Maybe we could run through some of the initial thoughts about it, and what we could potentially do. And then actually, yeah, I know, Dennis, you've been doing some log to metric stuff yourself already. So maybe some cool workarounds that exist today would be cool to chat about.
Yeah, so the thing I'm doing is I'm using a Lua filter, but I'm not using the Prometheus push output, but I'm having the Lua filter send things over UDP to a local statsd. So it doesn't quite match what Florian wants, but I'd be definitely interested in getting rid of the Lua filter and using something built into Fluent as well.
Yeah. We still can't hear you, Eduardo. Now it's
Wrong mic. Okay, so yeah, log to metric is something that we are really excited about it. Actually, when we planned to do this some months ago, and we started to put our hands with draft how it should be looks like the configuration, we found that the configuration was blocking us from implement this filter because we support metrics, native metrics now. And when you define a matrix, actually you define a metric name, description, potential labels, and information around that specific metric. But what about if we get many different metrics types inside the log? How do we handle that? And actually, we were blocked by a configuration schema perspective because our configuration was pretty plain. It doesn't support subsections or groups. It's just one first level, right? And the good news is that the first blocker has been finally fixed today because we just implemented group supports in the configuration and YAML. It's like we have a YAML version of the same config type. So yeah, it was merged today. So if you do git pull from master, you will get a bunch of changes. And the interesting thing is that now we can start talking about how do we want this from a usability perspective, this config looks like, right? So it would be great if maybe we can start. I have a old document I can share with you guys. It's like how I was planning to have this configuration, because for me it was like to have a filter, and the goal will be like to define, okay, this key must be a metric, and the metric name will be this, description, labels, blah, 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 right? And inside that, I don't know if you're familiar with Cmetrics, but Cmetrics is a library that we created to handle metrics internally. It's a kind of copy-paste of Prometheus Golang client. So it's a way to have our own context. So the thing is that inside the filter, when this information comes in, we need to create a Cmetrics context. And then we just ship that context over the pipeline. But it would be really great if we can come up with an agreement on a document. It doesn't need to be big, but how the config should look like, right? From a usability perspective. And we take them from there, from the code part, unit testing, and everything. I don't think that will be too hard to implement, honestly, because we have all the pieces together right now.
So should we create a discussion topic on it? And then we load up the resources. What's the best way to kind of?
Can you let's open a discussion on GitHub? Yeah, and we just link it right now to the document. I think that will be.
Yeah, I think that's best.
That worked for the config format.
Yeah, that's true.
We got a bunch of stuff.
But in order, from technical perspective, everything is there, right? It just needs to be implemented, right? Or is anything missing in the from the base or from the core?
From today, meaning 1 hour ago, everything is there.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So this is like a good timing. That's what I'm. Hey, let's start the discussion. Actually, ideally, we want to ship this out with 1.9, and we're going to delay the release for 2 weeks. Was planning for this week, but since we have many pending stuff, I think that log to metric is something that everybody wants, and we should ship it.
So our plan is, because for our customer, it's important now to see results quickly, to do a quick implementation, at least to see how it is working. And maybe we can then enhance that step by step, as you said, with the right configuration, because I totally agreed on that. We also discussed it, like, how do you configure it in the best way so that it's universally usable? Yeah, I agree on that.
Yeah, because I got some information from the community from specific use cases. I don't think that this will be like a big implementation. I think it will be really easy to do, honestly.
Okay.
Because we have the Cmetrics handler, we have the config support already in place, so I don't see any constraint with that. Cool. Now, right? We don't know later when we start putting our hands on.
Cool. Okay. I already did the EU announcement, so added stuff there, and then Dennis and Florian, you're both okay to participate in the GitHub discussion?
Already writing my first thing to it.
Awesome. That's much appreciated. Yeah, that'll be great to see. Okay, I think that's it for that topic. We have some good actions, and looks like we could get some work scheduled here shortly. Shantanu, are you able to do a quick intro, and then I would love to hear about this.
Yeah, sure. So we have recently started using FluentBit for getting FluentD and syslog logs and sending them to Loki and a central log server as well. So things are fluid. They come and go. I mean, they're in flux. Not sure what will survive. What we missed in the way was to we had to add the Lua script to get the tag itself. So we spent quite a while. So I feel that there should be a simpler way to basically observe the incoming packets, so to speak, and dump them if possible, so that I know what is missing and then I can take it from there. That is the reason for the request.
We had if I remember right, there is a branch. Dynamic, yeah. So it's actually it's a branch called stream processing dynamic queries, and so you can dynamically request, even modify data from an incoming stream. I think one piece that was that the stream processing had was it's appended to the HTTP server. So you call it remotely, but it doesn't have any auth behind it. So the hard part was, if we enable this by default, then anyone and everyone can just request your data by submitting a stream processing task and start tapping it. I wonder if there's a good way we could leverage what this has. It's for maybe some background. The FluentBit has a SQL stream processor within it, and it supports this concept called snapshots, where as it identifies a particular message or particular field, it will grab that and allow you to essentially flush it to wherever it needs to go. So you can kind of like grab context. You can like say, hey, if I find an alert, send me the next 100 messages as part of that. And so the snapshot feature is actually pretty lightweight. And so the idea was to just make it so snapshots could help you tap an input, but it doesn't do it in a like follow method or anything like that. So I don't know, maybe there's some way to leverage that, but I don't know.
I don't want to really compare with another tool, but Vector has got something called as Vector Tap.
Okay.
I mean, obviously you would. So what happens is you enable the API just like FluentBit, and on the same machine you do Vector Tap. So it starts spewing out what the incoming messages are. That would be adequate because this is an operator query. We are not looking for an advanced workflow over this. It's just that, hey, is this XYZ thing coming at all in the incoming message? That's actually the thing we're trying to debug. That's all.
I see. So more for this is all for debug. The main use case is debug.
So this is not something that you enable in production, right?
Sorry?
No, sorry. My question was, so this is something that you don't enable in production. It's like I'm going to test my pipeline. So my config, I enable this special mode and I can get a sample of the data that is coming in from an input, right?
No, eventually this will be kept on in production. I mean, kept enabled. It would be like somebody complains, I don't see XYZ log message in say Loki or somewhere else, wherever I've kept it. Now I have to go back and on the machine which is generating the logs, I need to either investigate or prove saying that, hey, look, the incoming log message doesn't have this, so there is no way this is going to work or something like that.
And now, for example, how this works from a security standpoint?
The API will be only configurable, so it can bind only to 127.0.0.1 maybe. So I can only hit it on local or something like that.
Yeah, but there's ways around in container world, isn't there? So that could be the concern.
What about the Unix socket?
That's also fine. Unix socket is also fine. So FluentBit is not running as a container. It's running as a process on the base machine, or rather the host. It's a virtual machine, but
I'm just trying to think, you know, the feature shouldn't be limited to just native. It probably needs to work in containers as well. So just it would be useful as well on containers. Just trying to think what would be the best option.
Yes. So I think TCP might just work out, because if I start listening on 127 and the Docker bridge, I'm assuming Docker, sorry, then even the container from the inside could do stuff on, you know, the usual 172.17.0.1, which is the typical Docker bridge. Like even if I have a sidecar container which I start for debugging, I could do that, you know, just a thought.
And one question, security is something that we need to, one is the future, but also what the security concerns, that is something we can find a workaround. Now, for example, if you have an input and 2 filters, what would be the ideal outcome of that? It's just get the output of the input, or also after each filter?
It would be awesome if we could do everything, at least the input, because after the filter is also something which would be very, very useful to, you know, emit somewhere. Temporarily, I could emit, like after one filter, emit it to file 1, after filter to emit it to file 2. I'm not just thinking off the top of my head.
Yeah,
it's like we need some kind of a trace, right? But we want to trace a message. What it was after the input, the same message after the first filter, blah, 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 before the output.
Yeah,
maybe we can enable for one shot, right? It's like,
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Right?
Yeah, because there are the Lua filters that you can like tap into each stage. You can get the output and you can just get it to standard out or whatever, and that's the way. Because really, at the moment, the only way to do what you're doing is to have a match at each stage, and then fire that down a socket, or have it coming out in standard out and then looking at the logs directly.
Actually, we have a filter called std out.
All right.
Yeah, but I think that the goal that he's explaining is not to change the configuration, right? Just enable something specific.
Yeah.
Just give me a sample of this, how it's looking like, how it looks like across the.
So you can like tap into it at different stages and investigate what's coming out at each.
Yeah, I'll give you an exact example of what was missing. So the tag field itself was not there in the input message, right? And it's a documented issue that, you know, you run it through the Lua script. So until we hit upon that solution, we were wondering why the tag field is not there in the output Loki. So that's exactly where I'm coming from specifically. FluentD was the listener input and Loki was the target.
Got it.
Yeah, probably worth opening a discussion.
I can send across the link to the workaround in GitHub. So, I mean, it's documented on one of the tickets. So I'll just find it.
Yeah, it's probably more understanding what the solution should be.
Oops. Cool. Okay. Yeah, maybe you could add it to that that GitHub discussion I just opened, Shantanu.
Yes, I'll add the link to the workaround so folks will know what I'm talking about. Sorry.
Sweet. Okay, I don't think there's any like yeah, this is the exact way we could go do it, but let's keep going in that discussion. Yeah, I could see a ton of use for that, and I felt that pain too when we don't know what something looks like after it gets ingested. So okay, let's we have 7 minutes left. Rahul, are you there? Maybe you could do a quick intro.
Yeah.
Talk about this.
Yeah, hi. My name is Rahul. I'm from Bangalore, India. I'm a DevOps engineer working at Epify. We are near bank, and our use cases, we are using AWS OpenSearch, and for some use cases, we are using a self-hosted Elasticsearch as well to send our logs. But the problem is, recently we moved our aggregator from Fluent to Fluentbit because OpenSearch, when Amazon went from Elasticsearch to OpenSearch, Fluent was having problems with connecting with AWS AWS OpenSearch. So we tested some scenarios with OpenSearch, and things were working good with OpenSearch and Fluentbit. But the problem is there is no way of connection pooling Elasticsearch, like to have a connection pool between Fluentbit and what we say OpenSearch. So every time we try to log a message and everything, it is creating new TCP requests. What we saw. And other thing is that there is no way we could set a limit on the number of log message it could send in one go. So I believe Elasticsearch client, with Elasticsearch client, this is possible to control on the client level. Can we have some same implementation in Fluentbit plugin as well? The same, like to control the limit of number of MB that we are uploading to Elasticsearch for one go. Because with OpenSearch, there are some network limits depending on machine level. So we might need that toggle to control the bandwidth.
What were the Fluent D features that existed there?
Fluent D, I think there is an option over there to control output limit over there. What I have seen my team uses, but there is nothing to control for Fluentbit.
Output limit.
Yeah, output network limit.
Output network. Let's see.
So while using Fluent D and Elasticsearch, we were not facing that bottleneck of crossing a network threshold. But with Fluentbit, our network, sometimes the thing is our log messages are worth 20 MB as well, because it's quite a big log, and they are basically getting batch at aggregator level. So it's quite difficult for us to send.
Let's see. Up here. It was in this specific plugin.
Yeah, no, there's another plugin for specifically written for AWS. We are using that one. So we had a talk. With some internet from folks on the company. They gave us that parameter. Basically, they told us to use that parameter to control out limit. It was there in the code, or probably not document or something.
Oh, but in this plugin, or it's a different plugin?
It's a different plugin. Fork of this, I think so. It might be listed in. Yeah.
It's for OpenSearch, or this is for?
It's for AWS.
Oh, it's for AWS. Oh, could you share that if you can?
One second.
Yeah, one thing, we just finished building a OpenSearch specific plugin. So That's there for Fluent D now as well. And then we, as part of 1.9, we're going to release an experimental version of the OpenSearch output with FluentBit. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So we are using this one. So they had some parameters to basically control output and everything, and we took a support of AWS folks as well to help us set this thing up. So with this, we were able to like control limits and batch our requests and send properly. But it's not possible with the FluentBit plugin. It looks like let's say if a request is above 15 MB and AWS OpenSearch is only allowing you to send a request for 10 MB because there are some network limits they have applied on instance level.
I see. Have you tried the throttle plugin by chance? The throttle filter?
I don't think so. That supports the FluentBit plugin.
So you do it. You'd make it a filter first, and then here you could say, I guess it doesn't do by size. It just does by.
Okay.
Yeah, just a thing to try, see if that might be.
Will this work on aggregator level? Because we are using FluentBit as an aggregator. Basically, we are doing aggregation. Like it's we are using Fluent, like it's a central aggregator FluentBit. So will filters work on that as well?
Yeah, you can put this on the aggregator side right before you do the output. So you have input from FluentBit, you'll have filter, and then you'll have the output of OpenSearch, Elasticsearch.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Just another thing to try. I couldn't find output network limit. Maybe if you're able to, could you add it here?
Yeah, sure. I will ask my team member to share that tag what they were using on the functionality, and I will update it over here.
Okay. I don't have your email. Okay. I'll just add a comment. Rahul to add.
And I'll just one more thing. I saw on the network documentation, we have listed some outputs control like for other plugins like TCP and syslog and remote syslog and I think forward as well. Can't we implement? Can we try to implement that thing on like on Kubernetes for the Elasticsearch plugin as well? Like if you go on network, I saw that you could control the output, the MB and the size, how much you want to send data at one go in batch. Is it possible to do a control it on with network?
You can use the chunk sizes, right? Maybe
yeah, but we don't allow to control the chunk size.
I see. Oh, that's always true.
Like during output, we need to like control the chunk, I would say. I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think if you add that, maybe we can start like I'd say either a discussion or an issue. I'm not sure on how to add controlling limits, throttling, or more customization on the output side. I think there's been some chats about like how we could do buffers per output plugin, but it's something we've just slightly talked about, not necessarily implemented anything yet.
Okay,
that would be my recommendation there. Okay. Yeah, but of course, appreciate you sharing. So yeah, I think we're at time, folks. So the next one of these will be at the end of Feb. Unless folks are open to doing it every 2 weeks instead of every month, I'm open to that. But I don't want to be too annoying.
I think that 2 weeks, Andrew, would be better because we always kind of run out of time.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Or maybe extend it to 2 weeks, 45. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, 45 and every 2 weeks. If we don't have topics, you can just come and ask questions, or yeah, you can talk about whatever. Okay, well, we'll do that.
Awesome.
Thanks all.